Well, Todd, you did it. Finally took that Italian vacation Mom said you could never afford. Well, here's to you, Mom. Refreshing. Well, that's something I don't see every day.
No better way to start the day than giving the old brushes a decent clean. Just the synthetic ones, they can take a bit of water. But once you step off the beach and onto Main Street, that's when Monterosso reveals itself to you. With churches, winding corridors and alleyways leading to hidden orchids, you could spend hours just mapping out the town. It truly is hungry work, and that's why I've picked up an Italian classic, a crispy quattro formaggio pizza finished with traditional pepperoni. And Dad got a cheeseburger. Monterosso is but one of 5 towns of a Cinque Terre, including Corniglia, Manarola, Riomaggiore, and Vernazza. Vernazza is very much the postcard most people ascribe to the region, with tourists pouring in every which direction just to get a glimpse of the Mediterranean lifestyle, the boats, the beach, and the cafes. But today we have no intention of battling the crowds. Today, we have a train to catch.
Just on 28 years ago, it was my first trip to Europe. I just turned 30 and I was painting in Santa Margherita on my way heading to Portofino for the day's painting. And as I walked past like a newsagent, a catalogue caught my eye, but especially this one image. And I thought on this trip, I was never going to get the chance or time, 1, to find it and 2, to get there. So with years passing and being invited to do a painting tour leading artists to the area, it sparked the memory of that photo. Alex and I searched Google Images, Apple Maps. We really put in the hours and finally, here it is. Okay, just grab a little bit of the lean medium, which I think is one of the best mediums in the world. I've had the chance to use most of them. The beauty of this is that it just makes the paint flow beautifully, great drying times. Sometimes a fraction quick outside if it's a little windy and low humidity, but that can happen in the studio, can happen anywhere, so it's all about timing. Most people think timing's more got to do with watercolour and especially acrylic, but that's where we've got to really be familiar with our paints, mediums, everything like that. Still getting over a bit of a cold, unfortunately, folks. Here comes the light, and I think it's going to move fairly quickly. And it's going to move from my right-hand shoulder and around the left. So with those lovely car shadows, I'll have to work fairly fast. This was the test. Was I going to be able to get the right thickness on the board, but not have it lift off? So if we weren't so worried about the train strike or imminent train strike, I wouldn't have been so forgetful, I think. That's the funny thing when you travel. There's so much going on, so much that you're trying to juggle, especially with plein air work. If you were to just go and do it in a studio, you have a bit more control, but everything's at our mercy here. Thankfully, the light was going to be constant on my board and palette. I got that, so I was going to be in full shadow, which once or twice on when I've been out painting, the light has moved that fast, or sometimes you've been in the shadow of a building or tree. That's why it's always difficult. It's always a learning experience. Here we are. Thankfully, I'm able to work fairly fast, able to get some of these sky values in, but I'm actually looking forward to painting this at a later stage from a few drone images as well. I think it has great potential for that as well. And I think that's what technology does for us. It opens up more avenues. It's just another creative device. Some people don't want to use it. I was always probably in that camp a little bit, barely even having a camera for my first 10 years, more relying on pencil drawing, on-site studies, local knowledge, because in those probably earlier years, we were probably more working locally, so we had more local knowledge. So that always was a bonus. You'll see how I've got a few little rough edges on this. I even forgot my masking tape as well, so I wasn't even able to mask up the area that I was going to paint. But actually, this is probably almost reminding me of an old-fashioned sort of, you know what, you have nothing to paint on, even if you can find a bit of board or cardboard or something, seal it with a bit of paint, and that's something to paint on. Because there's a few little Charles Conder, who's an Australian artist, English-born Australian artist that I think in the 1880s, 1890s, there was the recession and they weren't very well known, the Heidelberg School, the Australian painters, so they'd paint on anything. Cigar box lids, which actually proved to be a wonderful surface with that warm underpainting. But I believe there's quite a few of Conder's paintings in collections, in galleries and museums, in the best condition to be looked after as well. But if it's prepared well, it can work as well. Sounds like it's 9 o'clock in the morning. That's the beauty of being on site. You just never know what's going to happen. Starting to make some good progress with this. Probably with the benefit of hindsight, I would have liked to have just extended the building just a little further. I wasn't going to put all the doors and windows and arches in. I believe there's awkward sizes as well. So that was going to throw the proportions out. And I think it was more about the boats. I do love painting boats, and there was a little set of stairs up behind me, and I think I would have loved to have been up there, but it was all gated. So, and this isn't a bad vantage point. Let's have a look at how the light's hitting those boats. Now I'm able to bring that light in. That'll extend the field of depth, because ultimately the building's actually almost my backdrop. Not the ultimate backdrop, the sky will do that for me, but it's in that mid-distance which is acting like a marvellous backdrop. That's why as the light's gone round, I could almost paint it from this point as well. As more of a backdrop, we can bring that those foliage, that sunlit there, that could be another approach. But it's always best to stick with your initial idea, even if the lighting changes. That's why I always say, make sure you get those shadows, those shapes that are going to move fast, because they're the ones that we don't have a second chance to draw them in, get them in. That's probably one of the biggest and best takeaways from working from life, is to try and analyse, or even have a bit of knowledge of. That's why I'll even bring my phone out and check which way the sun's going as well, so I'll know. So there's fewer surprises anyway. So just about to wrap this baby up. It's been a great sort of painting session. Got my little brush, so it's pretty well done. It's been a long day, but a really great day. It was so good to put a bow on that 30-year journey. I was finally able to get to Rosa de Vente. Still not sure what it means, but it's a great building, great scene. So I hope you enjoyed it. I've had a marvellous time and a great day. All the best. Bye for now.